Hello, hello. Welcome to the Edge Magazine. Wonderful to have you here again. My name is Jurema Silva. Today I have a wonderful healer guest from Pine City, Minnesota, Tammy Hulke, and she's going to share with us all of her gifts. And you're going to be impressed with this lady because she's very popular. Her website is full of people sharing her gifts and the experience with Tammy that is just so wonderful. And I last year, 2021, I had a chance to participate in one of her retreats, and it was very emotional, very powerful, healing. And it's just that not for me, it was also a great healing in my life. I loved to participate in that retreat and help those almost 40 ladies, but it was also a great healing for me. And Tammy, welcome to the Edge Magazine.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. I am so pleased to be here.
Awesome, awesome. It's a pleasure to have you here. So, Tammy, you are energy healer, a body worker, a holistic health coach, and you're also a shaman. So you have all those wonderful gifts that people appreciate so much that comes from your heart. How did you start your journey? What happened in your life that you had that call to help people?
Well, it wasn't really a call. It actually was an experience. At the time, I was juggling two separate businesses, burning the candle at both ends, living on stress, and I did a lot of repetitive motion, and I've had some neck and head injuries. And so I bought myself a sound table, a vibrational massage table that vibrates. And I had a woman that wanted to know about it. And finally I said, just come over and we'll get you set up and you can experience it, because everybody experiences it different. And so she wanted to do something in return. She wanted to do this healing touch treatment. And I was like, ooh, is it like deep tissue? And she's like, no, it's lightly working above the body or touching the body. And I remember thinking, oh, great. What is that supposed to do? And I thought, go sleep on the table. You know, you're stressed, you could use the rest. And I had the most profound experience on the table in that hour session that I was like, I need to know how to do this. This is amazing. And so within a month, I found my first level of training and went, and I have been hooked and passionate about the healing ever since. And that was 2005.
Wonderful. Tammy, for the ones watching us right now, I am an energy healer. You also an energy healer, but many people don't know what that is really. They need to read our service to find out. Even so, it's not clear. Like your first experience that you just share is like, what the heck is this? My first experience receiving Reiki was like, what is this? I never heard of Reiki or any type of.
Mhm.
So, what is energy healing for the ones who don't know the practice?
So I look at energy healing as not just healing the physical body, we have an energetic spiritual body. And so we've got energy centers, which some call chakras. And so it's working with those. We can get blockages within our energy system and these energy centers. So it's actually working above the body or lightly touching the body. It's all heart-based, and you work to clear blockages. You have an aura around you when you have accidents, injuries, or traumas. That outer edge can get torn, and so energies can leak in and you're not as protected. So I can go and I can seal and work with so it's very relaxing. Sometimes you wonder, are they doing anything? Because you don't always feel a lot, but some people see colors. I see colors a lot when I'm receiving, when my eyes are closed. I can feel shifts. As a healer, I can feel heat or cool or sometimes prickly energy. So it's very subtle, but extremely powerful. And it's not just working with the physical body, it's working with the emotional body, the mental body, and the spiritual body.
So those three, body, mind, and soul, and emotions, are important to heal a person.
Oh, most definitely, because a lot of times we get out of balance from our emotions or maybe a loss, a trauma. And so, yes, it's very important to have that mind, body, spirit connection. So you're working with the whole person, not just the body.
Why is it so difficult for people to understand that our emotional state of mind uh, affects the health of our body? What do you think? Why do you think it's so difficult for people to connect those two, for example?
Well, I think that maybe it's a disconnect with our own feelings in our society. You know, not everybody wants to look at the emotions, and um, some people don't want to hear about it. You know, some people are very uncomfortable talking about those things. And so I think as a society, we need to start talking about um, the mind, body, spirit connection, and how the mind, the emotions affect the physical body, because it starts out in the energy body to start with, and then it works into a disease or a physical thing. So I can clear stuff in the energy body that might not have manifested yet into the body. So it's easier to clear before it actually gets manifested into the body, and it's just in the emotions or the energy field. So did that answer your question?
Yeah, you did. Continue with this theme. Taken out of one of your clients saying that she was doing physical therapy for a long time until she had a session with you, that it changed whatever a chronic pain she was having, maybe in the neck. I don't recall now. Uh, but what needs, the illness is in the body when the person is in pain, or there is any kind of a chronic pain in the neck and the shoulders and the back and etc. How do you work through this? Because you also do body work. So do you combine energy healing and body work? Because this same client of yours also say that it was the results by going to see you was better than a physical therapy. So how do you combine those two? Explain to us.
So usually I will start my session with just talking with the person, asking them why they came. I have a health intake form that they fill out, and so I can kind of see, I ask about sleep and headaches and just all that kind of stuff. And so then that gives me a good idea. I ask questions if there's anything that's unclear. And then once I get them on the table, I actually will do an energy assessment with a pendulum. And that gives me a lot of information as to where the blockage is. So I check all the major joints and then the energy centers within the body. And then I do, a lot of times I'll do a hand scan across the body to feel for, like I said, prickly heat, that kind of thing. And so then I usually will do my energy work to clear those blockages. And then I never move on to the massage or body work until I've cleared those blockages, because then everything I do beyond that lasts so much longer than if I just started with the body work and it feels good in the moment, but then it isn't long lasting. And I work very intuitively. One of my greatest gifts, I think, is reading the body. The body talks to me, the body tells me things. And there's times where I will go, why am I in this spot? I don't know why I'm here. And then later on, the client will tell me, oh my gosh, I had an injury there. And that is an old place that I forgot I even hurt until you started working on that. And so I think that's why the work I do and how I combined the energy work, the shamanism that I do, the healing touch. I've had a lot of different trainings over the years. I'm kind of anything like that. I just love to learn and advance myself. And so it really combining the modalities together and working with my intuitive side and my spirit guides, I can't leave them out because I've got a great spiritual team that works with me all the time.
You are also a shaman, and I know some of your story about becoming a shaman, which was years ago. You were not sure, but you were. They named you Red Hawk Medicine Woman. So you went through a ceremony and all that to become a shaman. Can you share with us how was your experience?
So first of all, I want to say I call myself a medicine woman. I don't call myself a shaman because it's actually your community and your peers that name you that. So it would be arrogant for me to say I'm a shaman. I'm a medicine woman. People do call me a shaman, and I do practice shamanism. So so how it came about that I was even introduced to shamanism was I was at a retreat shortly after I had started doing the healing work, and I had a soul portrait done by this intuitive gal, and she did a portrait while she gave you a reading. And she said, you need to get your shamanic training. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? She's like, no, you need to go get shamanic training. And me living in this small little town of Pine River, that's 900 people growing up on a dairy farm, I'm like, well, where am I supposed to do that at? And she told me about this woman about an hour away that teaches core shamanic training. That's what I took, core shamanic training. And so she got me in contact with that woman. And within a month, when I called her, she said, I have been trying to put together a class for the last 2 years, and I haven't had enough people. If you will sign up for the class, it's a 2-year apprenticeship. She's like, we can start next month. And so it just happened that fast. And so I went through the 2-year course, shamanic training, and my guide, one of my strong guides, is Red Hawk. And so it was actually a gal I met at a retreat, her and her sister, who invited me to my first powwow down in Pipestone. And she's the one that named me Red Hawk Medicine Woman, and she's Lakota. And so that training was life-changing for me. So the first year is all about healing yourself, and the second year was learning how to heal others. And so they teach you the core of the shamanic work, and then you take it and kind of make it your own as to how you work with it.
What's your opinion regarding to shamanism? I do have Native American clients, man and woman. And I also know shamans, Native American, and some of them, I should say the majority, I kind of puzzle and a bit upset with how shamanism is spread online and is spread all over the world now, and became more commerce, more business than the real thing. Because for them, a shaman is the medicine woman or medicine man who takes care of the tribe, the community. And now everybody's calling themselves a shaman. So what's your opinion with that?
Well, I guess the way I look at it is, back in the day when there was tribes and there was a shaman in the tribe took care of the shaman's needs. And the shaman took care of the spiritual and the healing needs of the tribe. So like me, when I practice shamanism, I do charge for it because of the fact that I need to pay my bills and make my way in the world. So it's kind of a tough one, because we need to get paid for what we're doing, because back in the day, the tribe took care of all the needs of the shaman. But like I said, I don't call myself a shaman. I call myself a medicine woman, and I do work as a I practice shamanism. So it's an honor to be called a shaman. And I think it's something that needs to be earned, if that makes sense.
It does. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. So your initiation, you took classes on shamanism, and you also went and had an experience with a Native American woman. Is that correct?
So it was a Native American medicine man.
Okay.
And that I met him at the Pipestone powwow. That was the last powwow they had. And he's the one that invited us out to his land and invited us into his office, which was a teepee. And Patty, my friend who named me Red Hawk Medicine Woman, and I went there, and we entered the teepee, and all of a sudden there was thunder. And we looked at each other like, it wasn't even like looking like it was going to rain or stormy. And so I've had some really profound experiences being introduced to the shamanic path. But yeah, he invited me that the end of the powwow, they gifted me a piece of pipestone, just a chunk of pipestone. And this Native American medicine man, Leon, invited me back a month later with my friend Patty. And we birthed our pipes that weekend. And I got to stay in his office, the teepee, over that weekend. And then he actually had 2 ghost dances in following years that I also attended that were very profound experiences.
This is all wonderful. You notice that I'm pushing you a little bit here with because I wanted you to share that experience with this medicine man because when you shared that with a group of women last year, it was just amazing. And it's not just that. I've seen you performing a ceremony as a shaman, as a medicine woman, and it was really moving, heartfelt. It was very powerful. The whole room, it was a large room. The atmosphere, the energy changed completely when you start playing and chanting, and it was just amazing. And that is not I'm sure you didn't learn that from just taking classes for 1-2 years. That came from your ancestors, and also from you being guided by a Native American spirit guide. So in a sense, you had a more experience with the Native American and Native Americans, especially in being invited like this, because they are very intuitive. They know who to pick to invite to the office.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just amazing, and people can tell that there is something very special when you do your ceremonies. And talking about your ceremonies, um, tell me about your retreats. They are not just very popular, but they are also very moving. They're very powerful. You change people when you organize your retreats. Explain to us what is this energy when you gather all those majority women together. Share with us about your retreats, why they are so popular, and what happens during the retreats. Because I know there is that everybody coming in the first few days, and at the end, it's just something spectacular. I want you to share with us.
So I take a lot of time and energy to put together my retreats, and I've been doing retreats for close to 20 years, where I've attended and I've done my different modalities there. But I really want my retreats to be about women supporting other women. So many times in the corporate world, it's kind of a backstabbing type, women don't lift each other up and support each other. So I really try very hard to create a very sacred and safe place where women can come together and just be themselves and explore, them maybe a different way of being than they are in their normal everyday life. And I mean, I've got an amazing team of women that support me and help me to organize and put this together, because it does take a lot when you're doing a weekend retreat. And so and I have a tendency to really draw in amazing and talented women that want to come and participate, like yourself, where you do have time to offer your readings and maybe see different healers and things like that. And everything I do is from the heart. And every year when I get ready to do a retreat, I ask my spirit guides, okay, what is this theme? Because I always have them be a theme. And so back in 2019, they gave me the theme of embracing the winds of change. Well, I didn't know how powerful that winds of change was going to be when we hit 2022. And I love to do ceremony. And that's part of what I like to create is sacred ceremony. And so, yeah, that's some of the retreats and how I put it together.
Talk about this sacred ceremony. What is it?
So usually I always do sacred pipe ceremony. This is the pipes that I birthed from this piece of pipe stone that I was gifted at the powwow. And so it's a form of sacred prayer. And so you can choose to smoke the pipe or not. So last year with all the COVID stuff, we chose not. I was the only one that actually smoked the pipe, but I passed it around and turned the stem to everyone's heart, and then they're able to take in the breath and then release the breath as their prayer to Great Spirit, to God, the Creator, whatever that is to you. And so it's very powerful because each person, and we sit in silence as we go around. And it's very, very moving for people to participate. And I always feel it's a lot of responsibility and a great honor to be able to do that ceremony for people.
That's great. It's almost like you were channeling great spirits during those ceremonies. It's just a very profound, very beautiful.
Thank you.
Tammy, what about this feminine power? What about our intuition? How important it is, especially nowadays with this pandemic is still going on. How important it is for us to be in tune with our intuition. And what about feminine power? Do you sense any difference? Do you sense that there is more of a feminine energy coming through?
I do feel like the feminine energy is starting to build. And I feel that the feminine energy is always tied to intuition. And I think it's so important for us to be in tune with our intuition, because it can help us to maybe navigate in a way that if we weren't connected and weren't sensing what we were feeling, and a lot of times it's within the body that most people, I think, sense. We're all a little bit different in how we perceive our intuition, but especially when we're talking about feminine, I think of it as the womb space, the middle part of our bodies. What's your gut saying? And it is very important to be in tune with that, because it helps in so many different ways. When you've got a decision to make, I usually will tell people, well, feel into what does it feel like to make this decision? You know, what's your body feel? And let them tune into that. And then, you know, go, okay, now if you make the other choice, feel into that. How does that make your body feel? And it's amazing how people will go, oh, now I know what I need to do. But not everybody's been taught to tune in and check in with that feminine womb space. And it doesn't, and when I say feminine, you know, men have a feminine as well. So I'm not leaving the men out by talking about the feminine, because there's some men that are very in tune with their feminine side and usually are more intuitive.
Any changes? You also are a holistic health coach.
Mm-hmm.
Do you experience any changes on people, on your clients since the pandemic?
You know, I think people are much more in tune with now wanting to boost their immune system and try to be as healthy as they possibly can, versus they maybe weren't, that wasn't maybe high on their priority list before. But I think the stronger we can make our immune system, the better we're eating, the more quality food we're eating. Our food system has really been hijacked in America. There's a lot of stuff in our food that is not good for us, especially if it comes in a package and it has a label on it. So yeah, that's the change I've seen, is that people are much more wanting to boost their immune system and learn what they can do to boost their immune system and be healthier as a whole.
Part of your life coaching or health coaching is helping people to, for example, lose weight, feel more alive, be less stressed, improve the happiness, feel more confident, quality of sleep, improve your relationships, and etc. and etc. So what do you do really for a health coach, as being a health coach? So those are several issues. Do you do the same thing? Do you combine the feelings with the state of mind and the body? How do you approach to help people, a coaching assistant with their lives?
So I found, for me, my coaching in this, if somebody would have told me this before I was doing it, I wouldn't have believed them. I am better over the phone with coaching than I am seeing the person in front of me. I can read into what's not being said, and so I like to actually coach people, not being able to see them, because for whatever reason, when I'm doing the coaching part, and I can still do some energy work, and I put a lot of my spirituality and my knowledge from the hands-on work that I do with. So now I just lost my train of thought. So I do better with over the phone than I do in person with that. But somebody might come to me. I had one client that came and she wanted to lose weight. And when I started coaching her, I found out they were almost in bankruptcy. And so for me, as a coach, that's more important than her losing weight, because she's not going to lose weight if she's stressed and she's about to lose her house and go into bankruptcy. And so I worked with her 6 months and we got her business turned around, and she's now opened another business and it's thriving, and they bought a new great big house with a swimming pool. And so, you know, it's called health coaching, but there's so much more than the food you're eating that goes into your health. It's your career, it's your spirituality, it's how much exercise you're getting. So I look at where they're at. I usually do a consult to even know if it feels like a fit for me, because I only want to work with people that are motivated to make the changes. I'm a great coach, but I can't do the work for you. So then I get a good idea of where they're at. And it's all individual, because what works for one won't work for another. And so I really need to get to know the person and give them usually small changes. I don't do a lot of really big changes, but those small changes over time make huge differences. And it's very intuitive, again, in how I work.
That's great. Now, how do you help a person who's got a problem sleeping, falling asleep, and stay asleep? I know there are many reasons, but how your holistic coaching will help a person with this kind of problem?
Well, first of all, I would ask them how much screen time are they getting before bedtime, because our eyes, you know, we're meant to not have as much light coming into our eyes to get us ready to go to bed. So if people are on their phones or on their computer and on their iPad until right up to the time they want to go to bed, they're probably not going to be able to fall asleep right away. And so I might suggest when they get up in the morning to go outside for 5 or 10 minutes and get the natural sunlight. It resets our circadian rhythm. So that's a few things. I know some amino acids, some different supplements that I might let them research and then make a decision as to whether that would be helpful. But there's a lot of things, no overhead lights, no bright lights. You want to turn lamps and stuff on at night, at least an hour or two before you go to bed, because that will help you wind down. And then I also find that eating more your carbs, if you're going to eat carbs late at night, or not late at night, but in the evening, later in the day, because then it helps to kick in the melatonin and help you to sleep better, your own natural melatonin.
It makes people feel tired eating
Mm-hmm.
evening. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's so much here that you are helping people with, but one item here that caught my attention is improving people happiness and also releasing stress. Tammy, what do you recommend for people to do daily for them to feel better with their lives, with what they are going through, and therefore maybe help others when and if they can? So what do you recommend in general for people? I know there are so many issues that people are going through right now, but they really want to be at peace, they want happiness, they want to enjoy life. So what do you recommend them to do as a healer?
So one easy thing that we can all do that will make a huge difference is practicing gratitude. We all have so much to be grateful for. and we take those things for granted. And what I have found is we have a tendency to focus on our issues, our problems, and then that's always in the forefront. And we forget about all the things that we need to be grateful for. So, one of the simplest and easiest ways to bring more things to be grateful for is to actually have a gratitude journal, or list 5 things that you're grateful for each day. But exercise is huge in just getting a little bit of activity that will boost your mood. It doesn't have to be strenuous. And I like to recommend that people are doing physical activity that they enjoy. Go for a walk if you enjoy walking. I don't recommend doing exercise you don't like just to say you're doing exercise. So those are a couple of things. Meditation, I think meditation, even a 5-minute meditation in the morning where you just quiet yourself, center yourself, think about, how do I want my day to go today? And that sets the tone for the day, instead of waking up in the morning and, oh my gosh, you think about your problem all over again. And so it can be as little as a mind shift of little things that you can do that will snowball and really help you to be happier overall.
That's wonderful. So if people want a consultation with you, how do they find you?
So I've got a website, and it's just my name.com. So TAMMYHULKE.com. And yeah, there's a lot of information on there, and my different trainings, and some testimonials, and pictures of some of the retreats and stuff. So that's the best way to get a hold of me. There's a phone number on there. A lot of times I won't answer the phone if I'm in a session, but I'm really good about getting back to people. So yeah, that's the best way to find me, is through my website.
Tammy, thank you so much. You are one of the most beautiful souls and women that I ever met. You have this big heart, big soul. You are totally more than a medicine woman. Much
Thank
love
you.
to you, and blessings. And thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It was an honor.
Well, thank you for watching. And don't forget to go to edgemagazine.net for more interviews, articles. If you're curious, it's Edge Magazine. Thank you. I'll see you next time.